Hey YouTube! Yeah, so not really much of a plan today apart from, as I said last week before, I joined a band playing guitar, like a sort of pub covers band. So I'm actually cycling all these, taking a different guitar, or taking 2 different guitars in every week, just to try them out in the studio through like a big amp while playing through my Softech there through a 4x12, so I've got up at volume rather than playing through, I'm normally just playing through my wee laney here, which is great for in the house. So last Tuesday, yeah, it took me a week to do this. So last Tuesday I went for the Hawk. This is a 1979 Yamaki made Washburn Hawk. I took in the previous week, you probably saw it in the last video, this 1984 Washburn Hawk. I'm going to do a wee bit of a comparison between the two. I wasn't that impressed with that one, to be honest. The sound, I don't know if the pickups are really what I'm after. This one sounded stunning. You see it's neck through, three-piece neck through. Brass bridge, it's through strung like a Telecaster. So it's got like neck through, through strung, brass saddles. These saddles clamp together to make it pure rock solid. Brass nut, all in the name of sustain. And my main criticism of the guitar was it sustains too much. It makes it quite difficult to play. So I know it sounds really silly, but when you hit notes, they just keep going much longer than what you would expect. So although it's a nice problem to have, but boy, it makes it seem much harder because you've got to remember to stop playing notes. Does that make any sense? So when you're kind of riffing away, ones you'd normally just expect it just to end, but you see you've got to forcefully end any note you don't want to ring forever. I did mean at the end of every song I was totally just giving it the pure home on one note, you know, and then go and stand at the amp and go woo and make it feedback, which was fun. But I used to have a problem with these, not so much this one because this is the most recent one I bought, but I've got a Falcon and an Eagle, which are very similar guitars, basically the same guitar but a little bit fancier. And I used to find them really difficult to hard because they're so unforgiving. It's like you have to be good at the guitar to play one of these. And I think I was doing all right. It's just I was struggling a little bit just with its the quality of sound hasn't been too good. Too Also, it makes a huge difference how hard you hit the strings. Probably not when I'm playing with the rat pedal just now, but how hard you hit the strings to how loud it is. So I was finding it was amazingly able to go from totally clean to. Yeah, it's not really doing it quite the same way with a normal volume through a pedal, but it really was going clean and then absolute death metal. So this is, I forgot to add also adding to the sustain, this has got power sustained pickups. So it's power sustained pickups, brass saddles, clampy bridge, through strung, through neck, brass nut, sustain. It's good. I mean, this is a beautiful guitar. I think in many ways it's the nicest one. It's a much less, well, you can see it there. I'm saying it's not as fancy as the other ones, but it is neck through, so you can see it from the front. But the Falcon has got like a They didn't stain the maple, so it's like a maple stripes you can see, kind of like that Washburn, that West Tone Thunder bass I had the other day, even though it wasn't neck through. You can see from miles away, whereas this one's just got like a an ash cap, an ash at the back. And look at what these things are made of. You can see it's got a wooden cavity cover, and it's got this neck scoop, which does look really cool, but let's be honest, it doesn't actually make really any difference to being able to get to the top of the fret. Well, not really. You can't. It's still pretty difficult to get to the 22nd fret. It's not like an SG, which I think there was a wee bit of compromise in the design of these, where they wanted one that looked as amazing as it does, because I mean it is one of the prettiest shapes. The guitar kind of Hammer kind of copied it. Yeah, so what I was going to do now is talk about the Hawk. So this is a Hawk, wooden truss rod cover, wooden back cover, carved top. So this is later on, once this was made by a company called Yamaki, which only had like 30 employees. So these are basically handmade up till about 1982, 1983, and then the company closed down and they get taken over. They moved production to a company called Chushin, one of the big Japanese manufacturers. This is still Japanese, and this one actually says Hawk on the truss rod cover, but it's a very different beast, although it's the same outline. This is a flat top. This one also has push-pull pots to split the pickups, which is available on the Falcon of this era. You can get it at the Falcon and the Eagle, but not the Hawk. It's just two humbuckers. This one has a Floyd Rose. It didn't come with it originally with a Floyd Rose. It came with a crappy version of the Floyd Rose. This is a really expensive Scholler Floyd Rose I put in this one. It does not go out of tune. For that, I'll give it that for being amazing. The pickups I felt were a little bit too Randy Rhodesy, heavy metal-y sort of thing. Very good for leads, and the neck is much thinner. It's, the advert for it says it's got a lightning speed neck for today's double-handed tapping techniques. So I don't know. To me, it doesn't look like it should be a shredder, but it is a bit. So this just got the plastic back cover instead of the wooden one. It's also got this cutaway here, which does make a bit of a difference. But in the original ones, this era, it was only the Eagle that came with that cutaway. Whereas once they'd rebranded and reduced the prices of all these things, they made all of them, or the Falcon and the Hawk have this. So that guitar, oh, it's lovely. There's actually, I saw one went for sale last week, a red one, and it might have been a Falcon. Not a huge difference between the Falcon and the Hawk. This era, it's set neck as opposed to being through neck. Obviously, it's a much more cost conscious one. This is kind of more like a Gibson Les Paul, I suppose. Quality wise, whereas these ones are much higher than that. Yeah. So those, if you're thinking of getting a Hawk, there's actually a Falcon for sale just now, which is kind of from that era. So it's, although it is a Falcon, it's got the flat top, set neck. It doesn't have the wooden bits. Somebody actually told me he thought they looked cheap. Like, Jesus, that does not look cheap. That is class. And also yeah. So basically, an absolutely lovely guitar. Maybe not. I don't know. I will have to take it in again. I'll have to run through all of them. It'll probably be another 6 months before it cycle round again. But I mean, it's beautiful. It just feels expensive. So if I redo them, so there's bridge pickup. And this one's been in the attic for 2 weeks, so I'm just going to assume it's in tune because it's got Floyd Rose on it. See how it sounds compared to that one. Bridge pickup, full bang. There's a wee lesson for you. Basically wipe down your strings after you've been playing, because the strings on this have just gone rusty, which probably means that I didn't actually ever get around to putting my favourite elixirs on it. This will just be rotos on this. And it wasn't rusty 2 weeks ago, and it is a bit now, so I might need to get a wee bit of cleaning on it. But these are still awesome guitars. They're just a bit more like a very high-end modern guitar is what this is. Still excellent, but you get a very high-end modern guitar, or you get pretty much eclipses any modern guitar. I don't know. I mean, you're looking at handmade things, and I think you're even outside the your custom shop stuff to get this sort of thing. Nice and heavy as well. Yeah, so I got so far with this, but the reason I took that one in last week was because we're playing a couple of songs that need a whammy bar. So I took in another Washburn. This is a 1983 Force 2, just single pickup. Just because I wanted a whammy bar, and I hate to say it, but I immediately went on to this. Everything just became much easier. I think maybe I'm a bit more of a, because I play quite a lot of Telecasters, I think I'm maybe more of a Fender than a Gibson guy. I'm saying that this is a Fender and this is a Gibson, but it just seemed to be, I don't know, I felt much more at home at this. Maybe it's just because I don't have the fear of playing something that's very expensive and I'm not worthy of it, which this one I don't feel that way quite as much. And having one pickup didn't bother me at all. I doubt this one's going to be in tune. That'll. So that was why I needed we're playing Black Knight in the band, so that's why I needed a tremolo bar. Tremolo arm on this is really good. It stays in tune. Maybe doesn't move as much as the Floyd Rose, not as much up and down, but it's totally enough for the Blackmore type stuff. This is, I suppose, this is basically a Strat. It kind of looks a bit more like a Fender Lead 2. So what it does is, see if you look at the body outline of a Strat, the outside bit from here all the way around to here is exactly the same. It's just the cutaway is much deeper. Instead of kind of doing this, it comes all the way in here. And what that means is the neck is much closer in, so it's shorter than a Strat, even though the scale length is the same. The neck is closer to the back. If you look here, there's not much of a gap there between the bridge and the back on a Strat. It's a couple of inches. And so it's got like a ridiculous high access thing, and you can see when you look at where the neck bolts on, this neck runs into sort of here somewhere where it's bolted on. It doesn't end, the neck doesn't end here, do you know what I mean? It's like it just goes away in here somewhere. These are, I don't think they're not as exciting as the Stage, which you can't quite see, that red one, and the Wing series. This is the Force series, the kind of 3 Washburn Yamaki made ones. I'm not sure whether this one's 83, I'm not sure whether this is still a Yamaki one or not. It's got an amazing grain which you can see through this opaque white, which you can't see. You can maybe sort of start seeing it in the video a little bit. I will get a light and stick it up there so I can, for better views on these things. It's got a slightly V neck on it. It would be a V neck if it was anything other than a Washburn, because I've got an earlier Force 3, which is like a sort of Strat layout one of these, and the neck's like a Toblerone, like it is on the early Stage season. So this is V-shaped, but not like a total Toblerone. It's just a bit V. But that makes it feel really thin and awesome. I think it might even be the same pickup. I have to say I didn't notice a huge difference in sound between playing the Hawk for like an hour and a half and then playing this for an hour and a half. It wasn't a massive difference in sound. It was a little bit thinner and more stratty, but not much. So eventually I finally worked it out. Someone was taking the piss out of me on one of the videos earlier on, saying I'd got a clock, and it was something to do with my did a Neil Young cover. I didn't realise this at the time. And he was like, "Oh, you should do Don't Fear the Reaper." I was like, so I thought, I've not played that in years. It turned out what he meant by the clock was whatever the setting was on the Digitech pedal was kind of going dunk, dunk, dunk all the way through it. I was like, well, yes, it was. But basically, I worked out how to play that. I always, for 20 years, I've been able to play Don't Fear the Reaper. So, it's A minor, G, F, G. But what goes wrong is you've got to let that note ring through it. So you don't want to play an F. You want to play like an F just on these two strings. So you can still have that open note ringing. I should be using the Hawk for the superb sustaining characteristics. So I would say that this is a much more comfortable guitar to play than the Hawk is, but I think you could probably argue that basically this is a Strat versus a Les Paul. It's the same sort of distance. You know, obviously it's got a slightly longer scale length. The Wing series are 25 inch, and this would be 25.5, just like a Strat. Not that's not going to make that much difference. I'm a big fan of maple necks, so I don't think this one's a one-piece maple neck. No, it isn't a skunk frame. So this one's just like a separate fretboard. But things I like about this, it's got the bullet truss rod, which is by far the best type of truss rod access to have. It's got a very similar bridge. It's got the tremolo version of the bridge that's on the Hawk. This one doesn't clamp up, but it's got the same brass saddles. I think that's a power sustain bridge pickup. It certainly looks the same as what's in that, apart from it's black. And there's not really that much else to say about this guitar. I was always a little bit disappointed with this one being a Force 2, because it's actually the third Force series I've bought. It might be the fourth. I've got a bass that's still not put back together again. It was all smashed up. Force 4. So the Force 4 is like a P bass basically. The Force 3 is like it's got 3 pickups. So it's like a sort of more Strat layout. Basically the same sort of guitar. Someone's put a Telecaster bridge on it. It's been hardtailed. And Force 2 is a 2 humbucker thing. And then I saw this one and thought, oh yes, a Force 1, I have to have that. This is a Force 2 as well. And it's like, oh man, it should have been a Force 1. The Force 1 with 1 pickup, the Force 2 with 2 pickups, the Force 3 with 3 pickups, and Force 4 it's a bass. But that's not how it works. So this is just a Force 2. I'll need to dig out my other Force 2. It's like a sort of burgundy one that's actually got a celebrity status. It was the main guitar of, I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Jeffrey Hughes? Something like that. The guy who played Onslow in Keeping Up Appearances. He bought the guitar new in 1982 or 1983, and it was his main. He was in a sort of a jam band at his local pub, and that was his guitar until he died. So it was a very well loved. It stank a bit, but it was a very well loved guitar, and it's got a wee bit of celebrity endorsement to it. It's a 2 humbucker one, but basically the same as this then. So it's given me an excuse to take in 2 guitars every week into the studio anyway. I'm always going to take in 2 because they're mine. I never know whether I've not fixed a jack input or something like that. You know, sometimes it's just, or I snap a string or something just breaks. You know, none of these have really been road tested in any way. But it gives me a good excuse to take in one. Cause I need to take in one that's got a tremolo for playing Black Knight, and I can't remember. I'll use it in some other songs as well. And then a hardtail one because I prefer hardtails. But you can't really play the Black Knight solo because it really is just going. You know, it's not really. still get these cheap. There's a guy selling one that's been for sale forever on eBay, a black one. Maybe not as exciting as this one. Obviously, I think the single pickup one's maybe worth a wee bit more, but it's like 100 and something quid he wants for it. And you know, if you put that up against, oh, how much does a Fender Japan made in 1983 one cost? And you think, all right, so that would be like a JV type quality one. Yeah, okay, so it's going to cost you 900 quid or more, or whatever it is, because it's got the name on it. Whereas these are same quality, but not. Well, one of the things I think they've got against them a little bit is there's a PV. You can get a cheap PV that doesn't look entirely dissimilar to this. Like not one of the good PVs. It's maybe a little bit bland looking, because I mean it is just a Strat with a deeper cutaway. But you get used to looking at these things. You just get used to all shapes. I've noticed that, see this Vantage, the black one that I bought, I don't know, about a couple of months ago, thinking, oh yeah, it's an amazing guitar, let's not knock it, but I actually really like the shape now. I think just from having it hanging on the wall looking at it, I've gone to realise that I think that's a really cool shape. It's kind of just a sort of pointy Strat sort of thing. Don't know, there's rumblings in the band of doing a Kiss song, Lick It Up, which is... So, just pretty easy, so I'm up for playing it, but I'm going to turn up with this, see what the band think of that. So that's tomorrow night in rehearsal. Take this in. This is a BC Rich Bitch, an NJ series Japanese one from 1983. The serial number starts 83. So I think that this one's been refretted at some point, and it's got slightly sharp fret ends. I might have a wee go. Actually matches this t-shirt quite nicely, but I might have a wee go sitting tonight if there's a good film on, and sitting maybe just file them down to make them a little bit less protrusive. Yeah. So maybe it'll probably be next week at some point. You'll see a review of how I got on with this. But I think it's actually, I quite like it. This is the reason that I had a Hondo. This is the first time I've looked this out since I moved house. It was in a box with the Wave, but I had a Hondo. I can't remember, was it H something bitch? There was like a hologram on the front of it, and it was a really good guitar, and I would have kept that had I not had this one. I mean, for me, that headstock is just absolutely amazing, and also because it's Japanese, it kind of fits in with my Japanese collection thing. So a bit of a setup, and I'm gonna try rocking this for playing 80s Kiss stuff. Yeah. Ow. Rock and roll, 23 minutes of just talking absolute bollocks. Sorry about that, but actually the last time I just didn't have any sort of plan whatsoever and just talked shit. People seem to say it was quite good, so I'll just do that. I've done videos for these guitars before, but I suppose you can watch them again. Rock and roll!